Hello everyone, welcome back to the Trusted Prop. Well, today we have a very unique and kind of controversial guest here. So I would like to welcome Raja Banks to our podcast. Hello, welcome to our podcast and also second in-person podcast.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
This is the second in-person podcast.
Yep, this is the second in-person podcast. So I am actually, I would like to thank you to come and join us for this amazing podcast.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, guys, this podcast is going to have lots of controversial questions. Okay. So, the questions are going to go as far as, make sure to watch this podcast till the end. And also, we are going to hide 10 different coupon codes within this podcast. So, if you can find all the 10 coupon codes, you can get a chance to win 5K, 25K, or 100K challenge account. So, well, keep watching. So, well, Raja, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so, let's begin with some of your past life.
Okay.
So while I was doing the research, I found out that you were a salesman before and then you slowly transitioned into trading. So can you share your experience and what made you transition from being a salesman, into trading?
So basically, I had a mentor back in 2014, 2015 when I first started my sales career. I started selling water filters, hot water tanks, furnaces, door to door, right? And before I did that, that guy told me this one thing. He told me that if you have the ability to sell, you will never go broke. Never. Like if you look at all the companies out there, right? The reason why they make a lot of money is because they can sell, right? So that's what I said. Okay, you know what? If I can sell, this guy is saying who has done very well in life, if I can sell, I will always eventually keep on making money.
Yeah.
So we were doing door-to-door sales. I started my door-to-door sales and it's very, very tough because you got to look at it this way. You go to someone's house, you knock on the door and the guy opens the door, right? Your first impression of the person is going to be like, okay, you know what? I'm scared or looks like a friendly guy or whatever. So it's very, very tough because one, I had no confidence. Number two, I had a speech problem that I used to do this. Like I used to like that, right? Like I couldn't speak properly. So someone's opening the door and I'm like, hey, how are you? My name is Raja. We're doing this. So that pitch never came out properly, right? So it took me 1 month of rejections, 1 month of no's to be able to have the confidence to say what I wanted to say. Guys tell me, hey, Raja, you're such a good speaker now. I was never a good speaker. It came by practice. So, so we did door-to-door sales, and then I opened up my own office. We hired agents, I became a manager. And then, once our agents would go out in the field, obviously you have some downtime. You're scrolling through social media, and then I saw someone making $6,000 that one day. And that MT5 screenshot, that blue thing you see, that changed everything. My mind was like, man, okay, so we're doing $3,000 to $4,000 a day across all our agents after paying commissions, rent, fees, or whatever. This guy did $6,000 in an hour. What am I doing? So that changed everything at that point.
And I think you are a great salesman. The reason behind that, let's talk a bit about your empire. So when I see that you have your dominant markets, your dominant funding, and then you got your own social media profile, which is again a brand in itself, and then you got your own mentorship. And I think all these things, it was possible because you are a great salesman. And maybe if you were not a great salesman, you would be just like another trader out there.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? Unfortunately, I get a lot of hate on that, right? Just this morning, I got a message and later on, I'm going to show you the message. This morning, I got a message saying that, hey, Raja, I used to follow you a lot. I used to admire you. I was a big fan. But now when I know that you're a businessman, I don't like you anymore. And my response to that was, are you stupid? If you told your mother and father that I'm starting to hate this guy who has created an ecosystem in an industry, I'm trying to make money and I'm going to hate on this guy. I told you, just see how dumb you look at that point, because obviously, okay, fine. I started trading. I started to post a lot of valuable content. I started to post a lot of analysis on Instagram. And then a point came where people started asking me, do I teach? In the beginning, I didn't come out and say I'm going to teach. They asked me, do you teach? I'm like, I don't teach, but I can teach you, right? And obviously then time is money. I'm like, okay, you know what? My first ever webinar, brother, was like about $350. It was like 8-hour webinar, like, course, whatever. So it's true. I'm a businessman, right? Yeah. So let me tell you, we have market fluidity, we have magic keys, we have Dominion markets, we have MT5 simulator, we have Dominion funding, and I just helped launch another product called Market Edge AI. It's like an AI platform on fundamentals which no one has ever seen before. So yes, so my whole idea was like, look, bro, I'm 37 years old, 3 kids, a wife, and parents to take care of, right? Sometimes I take care of my siblings as well. I have to make sure I have multiple avenues to make money. But my strategy has been very simple, right? It's always been this. I will see an industry. I will get in the industry and start to see if I can make some money in that industry. Next, I'm going to see what is missing in that industry. And then I'm going to introduce it.
Agree.
Right? So you can never hate a businessman. If you look at Microsoft, you look at Apple, Tesla, all these big companies, these big companies make money how?
Agree.
By sales, right? Sales. We just bought an enterprise package for our whole office of Microsoft Office. We bought that product, right? And then Bill Gates made money. And I'm not going to hate him. No, I'm going to say, okay, like, Bill, thank you so much. Here's the money. I need this service. That's how we're growing our companies as well, because we're delivering good quality service. And don't hate the one who makes money. Don't hate him.
But there is one more point I would like to add, because since I used to trade a lot previously, and I think the people because even I was the one who was previously like a lot of what I can say, procrastinating that being a millionaire and everything. But one thing I realized was that if you are trading, you can't be a millionaire. You can make your life, you can settle down. But to become a millionaire, the money that you're earning from trading, you have to reinvest it. You have to create your own business. It can be as small as digital marketing. But this is something that I have learned, that trading, it can fulfill your needs, but it can't give you the freedom. Complete freedom.
That's what I tell guys too. Like, a lot of time what people do is just sit down and they mentally of success. They don't really think, okay, what I'm going to do? Because trading is great, right? It's a great form of cash flow if you're consistent, disciplined, and determined. And as you said, if you're not going to reinvest that into different projects or whatever you want to do, like a website, consultancy service, it's not a long-term plan unless you get those wild moves and you're like, oh, wow, I made 20,000 or 30,000 in one move. That's a unicorn move. Doesn't happen all the time.
I agree.
But you're correct. You have to look at trading as a cash flow business. So substitute your bills and then reinvest.
I agree. And then Raja, when I was going through your profile, I actually read a few articles about you. And then I came to know that actually I have read.
What articles have you been reading?
There are articles on Hindustan Times, Times of India about you. You can
Times of India, okay.
Yeah, you can go and check. So basically I came to know that you were in a debt of like $500,000. So is it actually true, or again, internet has so many false news?
Yeah, no, that's true.
So how did you overcome that?
That's true. That was a debt. And that money I owed to people directly, So what happened was, and this is a mistake a lot of traders make now, is that when I found my initial success, people came to me and saying, hey, Raja, here's 10,000, here's 20,000. Manage my money. How much return can you give me a month? I'm like, 10%, which is wild. So I did that for about a year and a half. And at the end of the year and a half, I got in a position where a lot of traders who are watching me now, they're in the same position where they owe money to investors, right? And now they're like, man, I don't know what to do. I'm having these suicidal thoughts, depression. I went through all that. I went through all that. I got addicted to cocaine at that time because I wanted to find an escape from the reality where I was in. Right? So it came to a point, $500,000 debt. I told my wife, I'm like, hey, listen, we owe this much money to people. The Wonder Woman she is, right? She told me that what's the worst that's going to happen? They're not going to kill you.
I agree.
Right? And when she said that, they're not going to kill me, it changed something in my mind. I'm like, okay, this means no matter what problem I have, I'm not going to die. I'm not going to die.
agree.
That's the problem. Like a lot of guys out there, like, when they face problems, they think about suicidal thoughts, or my father's going to beat me up, or my friend's going to beat me up, like all these wild things that goes in a person's mind. I understand that. And the reason why these things go in our mind is because we're not sharing the issue with someone we can trust.
Agree.
If we can, you must have gone through a lot of problems in life, right?
Yeah, agree.
In a young age of 21, I still can't believe this guy is 21.
Yeah.
But the way I got out of that was so I told everyone that, hey, listen, I owe this much money. I cannot pay this to you tomorrow.
Agree.
So I don't have that, right? This was back in 2017, 2018. I can't pay you this now. But what I can do is, let's make a payment plan, right? Payment plan, every month, I'll give you this much, I'll give him this much. So we made a payment plan. That payment plan came up to about like $16,000 a month, right? And I'm like, okay, all I got to do is to make $16,000 a month. I started to get very disciplined in trading because now I was forced to get disciplined. I was forced to make $15,000 to $16,000 a month. I started to get very disciplined with trading. When I got really disciplined with trading, what happened was I started to do in-person boot camps. Every month I was doing an in-person boot camp. All the money that would come in from everything, trading, boot camps, courses, all that money would go to those investors one by one every month. Brother, for a year and a half, I took home $0. I gave everything back to the investors. Everything. So that tomorrow, no one can come to me, point a finger at me or my family that this guy owes me money. For a year and a half. Imagine. Every month, all the money comes in, you withdraw it from the bank, you go to every bank one by one, depositing. And alhamdulillah, in May 2020, I remember 2 days before my birthday, I paid off all the debt.
And with this, I agree with one of your point that you actually need a life partner. With me, I have a partner. We are together like for almost 5 years, and because since I am a business, I started my first business when I was 16, and I have went through a lot of things in my life.
What was that business?
It was like an e-commerce site,
Okay.
flyshoppers.com. Many people in India might be knowing because we then sold it out to a company. So basically,
so you did an exit.
Yeah, we did an exit.
Wow.
Yeah, it was not a big amount. Like in India, it was like 50 lakhs.
Bro, 50 lakh is still a big amount.
Yeah, but still, so what happened? Like without my partner, I think I would have never came this long,
Yeah.
So again, I would like to add, as you said that you took money from the investors, but right now I don't think that traders or upcoming traders, they actually need to take money from the investors. You got prop firms, and then again, there are thousands of accounts that are done, that are given away every day. So I don't think these traders actually need any investors. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, you know what? The thing with prop firms is great. In the beginning, I was very against prop firms. I was like screw these businesses because they're taking advantage of the people who don't have money, giving them this allure that you can make hundreds and thousands of dollars by trading $100,000 account, right? So now I see the opportunity in the business, right? So when people come into the prop firms, my advice to them has always been this, right? Don't come in blind because the probability of you making money is really, really low, right?
Less than 1%.
Come in prepared, right? Don't come in blind, come in prepared. What this means is, let's say you're looking at a challenge at Dominion Funding or whatever for about, let's say the challenge costs like $400, right? What I tell guys is this: deposit $500 in your live account, make that $400 in your live account and withdraw that money. And then buy the challenge. Because doing this, what you've proven to yourself is that you are disciplined, you're consistent, and you are able to make money and withdraw money to use it for a real life purpose. Prop firm.
I agree.
Right? So your probability of making money in the prop in that way is going to be way higher than just going in blind because you want to make $1 million in a week,
I agree. By the way, are you into futures also? Because recently we have seen a boom of futures prop firms coming up.
Futures, no. I have no idea about futures.
Let's talk a bit about it. So basically, this forex prop firms, or we can say CFD based prop firms, we have seen many of them, they deny the payouts, they delay the payouts. They don't even, most of the time, what I can say, issue the accounts on time, KYC issues. Some of them say that you are money laundering.
Yeah.
I don't know how it happens in in a prop firm account doing money laundering thing, because you are paying through Rise, you are getting your KYC done on Rise, you are getting your KYC on your platform itself, and then you are verifying what I can say, the wallet address, you are verifying the card issuing, like while purchasing the challenge, and then you see that the guy is doing a money laundering. I don't understand why.
Yeah.
But again, like if you talk about futures firms, I personally have seen something that futures firms, they don't deny payouts at all. Like recently I saw a guy on Apex, he made a payout of $2.4 million, and Apex actually paid them out for $2.4 million. And then I have seen many prop firms, like future prop firms, not talking about forex, paying about millions of dollars. And even like we have recently onboarded a prop firm, I won't be taking the name, but they have actually paid out like more than $5 million within the last 6 months. And I see that futures prop firms are booming. So are you even planning to go into futures side or providing the tech for the futures prop firms?
Yes, see, so here's the thing. One thing is that, like, I've seen a lot of prop firms, forex, CFDs ones, they go bust, they deny payouts, they have all these shady things that are happening, right?
Dramas.
So now, as a businessman, right, Dominion Funding, it has one of the most strict rules, right? And we're a little bit expensive because the premium service. Now, the reason why we did that is because we looked to see a lot of prop firms that denied payouts. Reason why? Because they had massive sales going on. 40% off, 50% off, 30% off. How can you sustain that? So when I looked at that, I'm like, okay, so if you're giving a 100K account with a 40% off, and when someone does like a huge payout, you're going to be saying, man, now we have to take money out of the sales we made to pay this guy out. Okay, let's look to see where can we tell this guy, like, you cheated over here, or you did opposite trade at another prop firm. Like a lot of big excuses I've seen on Twitter before I launched a prop firm was that a prop will say, okay, like, you know what? You took opposite trades at another prop firm. And man, trust me, two prop firms don't communicate with each other. They're not going to tell, oh yeah, we know this guy. They're not going to do that because that's a direct conflict of interest.
I agree.
Right? So all this bullshit I've seen, like, like higher sales and like all this, like, marketing campaigns, they don't work. Because it's the only way to make sure a prop gets a good sale is like saying 40% off, 50% off, buy one, get one challenge free. Like, what the that? I do Black Friday every day. Doesn't work. Right? So for that reason, we created a model for us, which is going to be sustainable in the long run, where we don't have to deny payouts. If a trader's making money, whatever he's doing, give him the payout.
I agree.
Right? So this is something I learned from, I'm going to call him my mentor, who helped me create this business, right? Next, when you talk about futures prop, futures, from as far as I know now, I may be wrong, futures, every trade contract you take, it goes into the market, right? There's no such thing as like, internalizing the flow or externalizing the flow. There's no such thing like that. So I may be wrong. Maybe the futures prop, they make money based on per contract, which is why they're able to pay out the traders, right? When you talk about prop firms, number one, there's no such thing as a fully A-book. There's no such thing like that. There's no prop firm that's fully A-book, because look at it this way. What investor will give $100,000 to a 21, 22-year-old guy from Bangladesh to trade their money? Right? Nothing. So most of them are B-book, given, or a hybrid model. Right? The prop firms that can manage their risk on profitable traders are the one who will never have any problems with payouts, which is why a broker-backed prop will always be the winner at the end of the day, because it's always going to be managed. When it comes to futures, I don't understand futures, but I think they make money based on contracts, which is why anyone who does make money, they're able to pay them out.
So even like, will you even consider in future going into futures as a business point of view, as a
maybe
business perspective?
Maybe after a year or two, but for now, we're still starting to build the business. We're still adding more valuable tools to traders. But futures is going to be something maybe down the road once we have a team that can fully understand futures. For now, we're only going to be forex, CFDs, and we're just going to focus on that.
Perfect. And then how many traders have you mentored so far?
Mentored?
Yeah.
Has to be in the hundreds of thousands.
And did everyone
Like
succeed?
directly mentored, I think about 150. 150 are going to be the ones who came to our in-person boot camps, stuff like that. Online through our courses, maybe like 5,000-6,000, but indirectly based on Instagram,
Leaked videos.
YouTube, leaked videos, like
Telegram.
like so much leaked content, like hundreds of thousands.
And do you think everyone like let's talk about in-person boot camps. So do you think everyone succeeded?
I know a handful of people who did succeed. And I would say, like, let's say if 10 people attended my boot camps, I would say maybe like 2 or 3 are still profitable. And the reason why is this, right? Most of the people who attended my boot camps, they were all professionals. They had businesses. They were already making money. And when you're already making money, you have a cushion to fall back on.
Yeah.
And you have great income coming in. Your probability of success in trading is way higher than someone who has debt or someone who wants to make money quick. Because you're confident, right? So it's a big difference. Like in one of the boot camps we did in Miami, we had an individual that came in. They recently did an exit out of their medical company for $15 million. And then they came to the boot camp, and I asked him, why are you coming here to this boot camp? He's like, man, Raja, like, I have this exit. I made X amount of money. I reinvested a lot of money in, construction.
Yeah.
I just want to see how much I can scale more my money through this online trading stuff.
And if we talk about, let's skip the in-person and let's talk about the normal traders, or what I can say, so-called followers and people who follow us blindly. So why do you think that they don't succeed? Like if we see the rate is 99%, even if we give them all kind of mentorship, you just, give them all the videos, you give them psychology sessions, everything, but still they fail. And I'm not talking about 70% or 60%. We are talking about 80%, 90% people. They fail in trading. Why
Yeah.
do you think so?
Man, it's very interesting. We have stats of thousands of traders across, Dominion markets, Dominion funding, and the education that we have. And the biggest reason why is so we've seen traders make money the first week and a half, right? Traders make money, they make some gains. But then something happened the second or third week where they see like a weird movement in, let's say, gold, pound, yen, or like whatever instrument, or they start to trust someone else's analysis, and then they start to trade those analyses, right? And then they start losing. And what we've seen is that whenever a trader overtrades and over risks, these are only 2 ways they will lose money all the time. If you overtrade and you over risk. Because look at it this way. There have been a lot of times where I have closed my day in a $2 or $3 profit, $10 profit. I've closed my days like that. Yeah. But when you look at it in a way that, okay, I've made $10 a day, where do I stand in the ratio of profitable traders? If you've made $10, you are in the top 1%. Or top 5%, if I'm being overly generous. Top 5% traders who made money that day.
I agree.
But if you want to take that $10 to $200, you're eventually going to be in a negative. You're going to be in the stats of like 99% or 99 or 95% of traders who will always lose. So I tell guys this: if you focus on 1 or 2 trades a day and you don't over risk, eventually you will start making money, because it's like a progress. Just like you have your website, right? It took you 3 years to get to 50, 60K a month.
I agree.
Right? You would have wanted it in the first year, right? And that's what I tell traders as well. Man, just give yourself 6 months, 1 or 2 trades a day.
Agree.
We have the stats. Even though I own a broker, we will make money when you lose. But I'm telling you this, you focus on 1 or 2 trades a day, eventually you will succeed.
By the way, with the point that you came up, like you owning a broker, many people online, they just say that you be book traders. And I don't know many people know or not. Even I have worked with a brokerage firm. I have created tech for them.
Oh, yeah.
And I was leading like their all the tech side operations. So I created CRM and everything. So I have seen that 99% of the brokers, they B book and A book everyone. Like even if you talk about the AAA rated brokers, the top level brokers, they have their offshore and onshore, both type of what I can say accounts.
Yes.
And whenever someone signs up, they usually put them into the B book side, or you can say the offshore accounts or offshore empty licenses, and then they onboard you. So what's your thought on this? Like, do you think this is something that trader or the people should actually concern about, or they should be concerning about getting their payouts on time or getting their withdrawals on time? And do you think that brokers, they do actually make more money with B book or A book?
See, that's a very interesting question, and that's a loaded question as well. So I'm going to answer this in 3 parts, right? Number 1 part is going to be talking about regulation, licenses, and having different entities. For example, let's say if you have a South African license. When you have a South African license, you are supposed to STP everyone, which means you're supposed to A-book all the trades, right? Now, let's say a broker XYZ Markets, they have a South African license, and let's say they have a Mauritius license, or they have a Seychelles license or whatever. So what they're going to do is that everyone who is signing up from South Africa, they will onboard them on the South African license. But everyone who is onboarded from rest of the world, they may onboard them to the Seychelles license or the Mauritius license, right? Where they can B-book the trades, they can A-book the trades, they can run a hybrid model. So that's the thing. What most brokerages out there, what they do is they run a hybrid model. This means that partial of the orders are B-booked, partial of the orders are A-book. And that's how the business is run. It's very, very normal. Now, as a trader, what you need to look for is, are your trades executed at the right time? Are your deposits going in at the right time? And are your withdrawals being processed in a timely manner as well? Right? If those things are not being done, then there's something a little bit more shady that's happening, right? So that's what you as a trader have to look for. Ironically, when I first started trading, I fell into this myth of, I want to look for a broker that is fully A-book, because if I'm on a B-book broker, XYZ is going to happen, that's going to happen, whatever that's going to happen, right? So I changed 4 brokers in the beginning looking for the perfect broker. And what I realized in the beginning was like, if I'm being B-book or A-booked, doesn't make any sense, right? It doesn't make a difference whether I'm going to lose money or make money. Because if I'm losing money, whether it's A-book, B-book, or a hybrid model, I'm losing money at the end of the day, right? So all I have to focus on is to make money. If I can make money and I can then have those profits in my wallet, then maybe I'm in good hands, because it's up to a brokerage on how they run their business, right? Whether they A-book, B-book, hybrid model, whatever, it's up to them. But from a consumer standpoint, from a trader standpoint, your trades have to go in at the right time. They have to be executed at the right time, because that's the job of a broker, right? And then your profits or withdrawals, whatever, they have to be processed in a timely manner as well.
I agree. And by the way, with this, I would like to also ask, do brokers that are A-booking traders make more money, or the brokers that are B-booking traders make more money?
Well, the brokers who A-book all the trades, they make money off of commissions, spreads, and swaps, right? So let's say you look at something like Oanda, or you look at something like forex.com, or something that's heavily regulated, right? Something that's heavily regulated where you have to A-book everything, you're going to notice that there will be some conditions on trades. Your spreads are going to be higher, right? There's going to be a first in, first out condition on trades. Like the trade that you can open first, you have to close that first, other than the rest of the trades, right? So there's some conditions they place. So when you have a fully B-book operation, of course you're going to make more money, but at the same time, you're going to be running at risk of someone. Let's say, for example, you have someone who deposits $500,000, right? Someone who deposits $500,000, you cannot B-book that person. Because if they make 100K, now you're taking 100K from your pocket, then
giving him back,
right? So you have to run a risk assessment team that, okay, let's say we have $10 million that have come in a certain month. Now you have to allocate out of that amount, which amount has to go into the liquidity, which amount has to go in the risk profiles, because there's a lot of risk things done at the back end. You have to risk based on regions, based on traders, based on volume size, lot size, like a lot of things. It's not like you're going to say, okay, we're just going to B-book all these guys. No, there are different risk profiles created in the back end. So then, we go based off of that.
Agree. And by the way, with this,
but then again, it doesn't affect your trading experience on a broker.
Agree.
So let's get that clear.
Depends on broker to broker.
Depends on everyone, yeah.
Okay. And with this, I saw a story of yours. I think it's been like long back, maybe a few months ago, that you said making money is easy, but managing money is hard. And I think it is something that everyone faces, including me.
Yeah.
Because once you get the money in your hand, you feel like, let's spend it,
Yeah.
So why did you say so, and what did you face that, you actually shared it with the public?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, see, the thing is, making money is easy once you get in the groove of it, right? Once you get in the groove, making money is really, really easy. Now, let's say, for example, you are 23, 24 years old, right? You're making $15,000, $20,000 a month, right? The urge to spend that money, it's so high. Because now you have to prove and show off to your friends. You have to prove and show off to your cousins, your relatives, right? Everyone. Because, maybe you were the kind of guy where everyone said, oh, this is a loser guy, what's he going to do, blah, blah, blah. But now you have access to all this money. You have to prove your worth to all these people. In the beginning, it's very difficult. But if you can pass that stage to say that, okay, I'm making this money, I'm going to be smart about it, I'm going to invest in it, maybe invest in a team or property, real estate, whatever, and I'm going to make sure that this money keeps on working for me, you're going to be good at that, right? My situation was a little bit different, not in a way that I never, so I dropped out of university. And once I dropped out of university, I had this urge to make money, right? Because I had no degree, no nothing, no backing. I was in Canada. I'm like, okay, you know what? Now I got to make money. So when I started my door-to-door job, I started making no money. I started doing rigs. So I started making about seven to 10,000 a month, and then slowly started making more and more. But at that time, I had a family. I got married. I was having my child. So my approach towards money was very mature at that time, right? But I can 100% guarantee you this, that if I started making 15, 20K a month when I was 22, 23 years old, I would have blown it all on parties, left and right, parties and all these trips and whatever, watches, cars. I would have blown all that money.
I agree.
So I'm thankful this happened later on in life than it happened before.
I agree. Let's move quite towards your personal life.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So I see you are wearing a Daytona Rolex.
Yeah.
And to be honest, even I'm a fan of watches.
Yeah.
Not expensive watches, but Rolex, Rado, and so basically I would like to ask you two things. How many watches do you own as of now?
Brother, I don't know. Maybe I have 8, 9 watches.
Only 8 to 9.
8, 9 watches, yeah. But the thing is, every watch I have, that's cash, right? Except for this one. This watch I bought at the peak. This watch I bought for about $55,000. This is now at $40,000.
Yeah.
Big mistake I made. I have an AP skeleton I bought for $120,000. It got discontinued.
Yeah.
That's retailing for $150,000 now. So if you're looking for a watch, go for a Rolex date just. Safe investment. $12,000, $13,000. You want to sell it, you can sell it at the same price. Something around that range is perfect.
And how many cars do you own as of now?
Bro, I have 5 cars here in Dubai, 1 car in Canada, 6 and 3 cars in Pakistan, and 1 motorbike. But they all have good use.
Yeah. I saw today you came in Rolls Royce, and one thing I observed is that you love driving your cars and not having the driver. So
No.
why is it so? Why do you do you feel something different when you drive your car, or?
See, if I'm going to buy a car, why would I have someone else drive that car? Makes no sense. I want to drive that car. I want to experience that drive. Like a lot of guys said, you bought the Rolls Royce Ghost. That's like a chauffeur-driven car. I'm like, listen, in your mind, it may be a chauffeur-driven car. Or maybe if I'm 70 years old, then I'm going to have a chauffeur. But now I'm young, active, healthy, strong. I want to drive my own cars, because if someone is going to see a 30-some-year-old stepping out of a Rolls Royce, they'll be, oh wow, okay, this guy's driving his own car. Must be something, Plus, I feel proud. I feel proud to drive a Rolls Royce. To drive my Ferrari is not a driver-driven car, but I feel proud to drive my Escalade, my Range Rover, my Urus, my Rolls Royce. I feel proud.
Yeah. And with this, I had one more question for you. Okay. So basically, which car do you love the most? Sports or?
The Urus is hands down one of the best cars I've ever owned. You got comfort, massage seats, you have sport, you have aggressiveness, you put a carbon body kit on it. Wow. If someone's looking for a car and you got the money, go for the Urus. Go for the Urus, not the Huracan or this. Go for the Urus.
But I would like to have one last question and opinion.
Yeah.
So, not a question. Let's say kind of opinion. So, a few words from you. Like so many people on Twitter, they just go and fight with you regarding so many things. Let's talk about. Let's talk about. There are many platform CEOs who hate you.
Yeah.
So something you would like to say to those CEOs who hate you.
Man, the thing is going to be this. Don't hate me because I tell you how to do your business properly, right? Hate me for the reason that I came from a point where a lot of people are still in, and now I'm at a stage where a lot of people, they want to be. You know, my like, I don't have beef with anyone. I don't have beef with nobody, right? Because we've built so many tools in the market for traders. The only thing I say to the owners is this. Don't focus on the biggest, best sale you can give to your traders. Focus on what sort of value are you providing to your clients. That's the thing. If the only value you can provide to your clients and the way to say, oh, we're going to give you the best sales, that's not value. Value is providing them the tools to be successful, providing them the incentives to manage their risk. Do you know how many prop firms I approached to give them a deal of magic keys so their traders can be better at risk management? They were like at least 4 or 5 firms, and they all said no. Why? Because it goes against this business. They all said no. And I'm like, what the is wrong with them? You know, so then I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to build Dominion Funding. We're going to come into the market and we will give these tools to traders so they can be profitable. You know, so that's why they hate me, because I'm pro trader, helping them while they are pro sales, you know, like.
Yeah, they hate you being their competition. Yeah.